while I do mess around in my PvPs if I do not just straight up leave them. So this is our bar-coded red Zerg in the top right. His name is actually effecT, if I remember correctly. I did not pull up the email anytime recently though. And he will be against Booster, who he says is from Startale. I don't know if that is their tag. So maybe he is mistaken, maybe he is not. Either way, let's hope that this is a good ZVP. I'm rooting for the Protoss just because gotta help your Protoss brethren. Don't want to deal with those Zergs, especially when you have so many of them on ladder. I'm actually going to go back after I'm done and just see how many Zergs I've fought in ladder in a row. Wow, messed that up big. Either way, speeding this up just a bit. We will see probably a Forge Fast expand. He does have the pylon here. Probably going to do that Nexus first just because it is a 4-player map. The Overlord will spot this. Will not spot the pylon, actually, I'm pretty sure. Oh, he will just see it, actually. There goes the Forge. Actually, you can go for the Nexus first in this scenario, but instead, he's not going to. He did go for that Forge first. Will throw down a cannon behind it. I don't know if I agree with that at all, just because you don't need it. But he is a Masters, so I guess he is gonna be doing better than me in most of his PBZs. So I suppose we will leave that up to him. The Zerg base is only ahead by a total of 20 seconds compared to the Protoss's Nexus. Pretty good timing for that Nexus, even though he went for the Forge first, though he did not need to. Cannon is up, and he will not have to be afraid of any pushes anytime soon from any of those lanes, any run-bys. Getting into his main, he will be pretty much set. Getting the gas geysers as well in his main. He can go from Stardate play after this. He can go into a 7-8 all-in off of this. Either way, though, we will see here shortly. One gas from Zerg, though, he will want to get enough gas for his speed lanes. Probably not going to go anything else anytime soon, though. Queen being made in the main. We'll want to, I mean, I always like extra queens. Extra queens are nice, having more around. Does start a very, very quick third base, though, because he knows that the Protoss Forge fast expanded and did not go for any form of gateway expand, so he knows he can get that up without having to worry about protecting it anytime in the immediate future. But here shortly, Protoss will probably scout it, will probably want to work on taking it down, or at least harassing it. And he does have the Cybercore finishing up. The only problem with his build here, though, and he does throw the pylon back here, is that if he didn't throw the pylon back there or into his main, his tech would be easily scouted. Though that is not the case now. The Zealot will be moving into position to block off against any Zergling run-bys, or it will just run over here. It's just gonna chill out here. We do have the Overlord speed, rather, being researched, and that will allow this Overlord, or this one really, to just fly in, see what's going on very easily. It will also protect them a lot from any Phoenix play, allowing them to get around the map so much faster. I do not know the exact speed boost that it gives, but I know it is pretty insane in the long run compared to how Overlords usually move. This probe does scout the third, and it will be taken down due to those lanes, but it did its job. Now it is just a pile of blue mist or whatnot. I am on the low graphics. I do apologize. My computer not doing too very well. When it gets to a higher graphics level, we do have mass drones being made from Zerg, though. If we look at the worker count, he is just below the Protoss, but he does have 4 more being made. So he will now be ahead shortly, and Phoenix production has started. It has not been scouted just yet. It can be pretty much assumed that Stardate play will follow this up, but if you do just always assume, you can fall prey to those 7-8 all-ins with the Blink or with the Immortal all-ins that are very, very strong. I do need to start working those into my play just to beat these Zergs, because macro games are not very good for me when I try to play PvZ and go into the late game, just because you gotta constantly be harassing, doing those Zealot counterattacks and such. Maybe we will see some of those here soon. The Overlord coming in with the speed, he sees everything. The Phoenix, now that it has been scouted, can just freely attack this Overlord, and still does move faster. The Overlord, I think it has a base speed of 0.59, So going up to 1.88 from one upgrade is quite a massive speed increase. He will want to start hunting overlords now that he has been scouted. There he goes. He is just scouting around the base, taking a very... I guess he's just patrolling around the base or something. I am very confused by that path that he has set up there. But maybe he'll be okay. Lair has started for our Zerg player though, as well as the +1 melee attacks for his Zerglings, possibly going into some Ultras late game if he does get very good upgrades. Other than that, usually we see a lot of Roach play. That's the only reason I bring up Ultralisk so early in the game, because we will not see those melee attack upgrades if we see a lot of Roach play. That is not the case. We do have the Robotics Bay already in production a lot sooner than when I normally get it. Maybe that's where a lot of my problems lay, is that I do not get that Robo early enough. And it's such an important AoE. The AoE damage is so important to have, rather, against any race, really. Just so important for those Protoss units. They work so well together if there is a nice mix of everything, rather. This observer will go out. It will probably start a bit. Doesn't want to run into any spore crawlers though, just because those spores being set up due to the fact that there are so many phoenixes, 5 of them on the field, but not making any more. Usually you stop at 4. Maybe he overmade one, or maybe he wanted to just go a little bit harder in terms of his phoenix count. Could snipe off these overlords. Does catch the queen. The spore crawler hitting now the lower health. It does get down to 39 health. He will find another overlord to kill, or he will just stay away from it. Swarm host upgrade has started. A very, very extremely good upgrade. It is only 10 seconds. I thought it was a little bit longer, but it definitely does help those locusts get so far across the map. They do move at a pretty good speed. And 2 of the swarm hosts have started. These phoenixes just being annoying. You could actually go over there and pick up the Hydralisk. But now more have come. Even then, though, he could really still do that. Even if you have just one less, you can pit them up and quickly change the numbers of Hydras very quickly. Yes, quickly, very quickly. I know how I talk. I don't want to hear it. We do have one Colossi on the field, another one on the way. Extended Thermal Lance is on the way, as well as that +1 ground weapons. The third base for the Protoss has already started, but the Zergling does scout it. And these Phoenixes looking for a 4th base. They already checked over here. They didn't see anything. These lanes, though, will definitely force a cancel on this third. He doesn't want to let the Colossi be caught out. What are you doing, Colossi? That is not a very good place to be. These Zealots and Stalkers trying to get over there. It will have to be canceled. He didn't cancel it. I'm 95% sure he just did not cancel that. Trying to wall off the lanes. Not doing very good with those force fields. Not showing very, very good decision making here. These Phoenixes do see the 4th base for the Zerg go down, and that will leave the Zerg in a very good position. This 3rd base will be set up yet again with more pylons, trying to defend it. This time, if he throws down a few cannons, would be nice. The Extended Thermal Lances finishes in just a few seconds. The 2nd Forge finishing up here again as well, with those upgrades for the Zerg. You will have one melee attack and 1 ranged attack here shortly. Those locusts will be scaling off of the range damage. The Hydra range also coming out, making it so he will be able to transition into Hydra's play if he needs to. And you definitely, so very definitely, yes, so very definitely want more than 2 Colossi to deal with this many swarm hosts, but they were burrowed underneath the observer, and a lot of them get caught out. But these Hydralists over here sniping out 3 of the Phoenixes and not being able to kill too many of those swarm hosts. If we look at the units lost tab, we see that Zerg has lost a lot less, but he has lost, the 6 units lost have all been drones, rather. That's what I'm trying to say. But he has lost... What? The units he has lost, I guess, are just a lot more expensive. The Hydralisk, the Queens, and such. But even then, these Locusts will slowly but surely, does kill that cannon, will kill this pylon in the next wave. Unless here comes the Protoss army. They will clear this out pretty quickly with 3 Colossi, since there are not too many Swarm Hosts just yet. There goes one Free Zealot. There goes the lasers. The Extended Thermal Lance is proving to be very effective here. If the lanes just did a run by, though, next time, This would be a big thing for when the Protoss does move in. And here comes some Zerglings over here. They could just attack this front. The Zealot wasn't on hold position though. The lanes do get into the main base and they will go straight for the main. Not even going for the natural. Some of them going there, being annoying in every part of the Protoss space. Protoss does have to fall back for this, and now he has Lotus pushing in on both sides. A whole bunch more coming in. And 6 Vipers are going to be hitting the field very soon here. Actually going to lose the main Nexus. That is a big hit. If we look at the workers loss count, we do see 15 have been killed. I believe that was at 3 beforehand, so we did kill 12, did kill a Nexus here. Going to take out some pylons, supply blocking the Protoss as well, but he does have 4 Colossi out, so he will be fine to really sit back for a while and have to macro up. A whole bunch of Evo chambers are coming out for our Zerg player just so he can sap the life on those for energy on that consumability for the Vipers. That's what I'm trying to say. And the 4th, no, okay, he's remaking the base in the main because he did lose that Nexus, and that is a big hit. I don't know why these Locusts are kind of just always up here if they're not close enough to do any damage at all. These are in a very bad spot, though. He is going to lose one. Going to lose more. Going to lose all of them, it looks like. That is a bad play from our Zerg, but he is still very far ahead, throwing down the Ultralisk Cavern and making 15 Hydralisks behind this. And even though there are so many Colossi, he can just abduct them. Watch right here, we do see them pulled into the Zerg army, one going down. The entire Tier 3 investment can be torn down from just one unit, as well as the DPS from those Hydralisks. He doesn't care about the Stalkers, and he knows he's going to lose a lot of Hydralisks. He takes out all of the Colossi right there. And that is the quarrel I have with Zerg. That is the quarrel I have with Blizzard, really, in retrospect. I hate Vipers. Even though you can feedback them, they are just so very annoying due to the fact that they can just take your Tier 3 investment right from the center of your army and be quite okay with that. We do see the 2-1 upgrades against the +1 attack upgrades from our Hydralisk here, and that means that these Stalkers will definitely push through these Hydralisks very, very quickly. Zerg still with the supply lead and still trying to fall back. No, he's not going to lose another Viper. These Hydralisks trying to defend whatever they can, trying to wait until, I don't know what he's doing. I know he had the Ultralisk Cavern, but he doesn't have very good upgrades in any regard. Actually, these Hydralisks just dealing so much damage, doing 13 in total, actually more than the Stalkers, even though they do have those upgrades. Blinding Cloud proving to be effective here, doing a lot of poking in and out. 3 Ultralisks are on the way. They do not have that Chitinous fighting, though. They do not have very good upgrades in the first place. I believe that, oh, not P, I do apologize. There we go, it is G, showing that they have +1 attack and +1 range attack, but other than that, no real upgrades from our Zerg player. The 2-1 from our Protoss player will be very effective here in dealing with this. The Hydralisks, though, dealing so much damage, 13 compared to 12, but they do have a lot less health and less armor than those Stalkers. So at the end of the day, the Stalkers will actually be doing 1 more damage, but all of those drones were just taken out. That is a big loss for our Zerg player. The Protoss has killed 15 drones now, but there goes the Colossi. Oh, he sees the Ultralisk on the field. He just blinked in, or he blinked on these probes rather. The Colossi was taken out. The Hydralisks were just going to do too much damage. The Zerglings, how many Zerglings? He had a decent amount of Zerglings here, and they would be able to catch out any running units to allow the Ultralisk and Hydras to catch up to him. The Zerg was on 5 bases. He was getting chitinous plating. He was getting more upgrades. He was getting 2 more Ultralisk ahead by 30 supply. He knows that he is out. So the Protoss WW, which is the same thing as GG for those that don't know. That is just the Korean way of doing it, because I think of something where the letters are put on their keyboards or something like that. But I know that that was a pretty good game. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more scouting by Protoss. I would have liked to have seen a Zealot on hold position so he didn't lose his main Nexus. That was a big hit. That could have lost him the game right there. Such small things that even the bigger players will lose due to. So good game from Mr. effecT, and thank you for sending that replay in.